Just moments before Sinner and Dimitrov started their match today, I was texting a friend of mine and I said, what if Grigor somehow plays just like Roger Federer today and pulls off the upset? Could you imagine? After a set, I was thinking Sinner's going to win, but that was an awesome set. After 2 sets, I was thinking this could happen. We could get the upset. And then not long into the 3rd set, this happened. And Sinner was super nice. He helped Grigor pack his things. Grigor's pec was so messed up he had to use his arm to reach up to the umpire's hand to shake his hand. Sinner helped him pack his bags and helped him carry some of his stuff off the court. Very nice of Sinner. Of course, Sinner must have been a little bit relieved to get out of that match one way or the other. In press later, Sinner was asked, Grigor was doing a lot that was working against you, Yannick. What exactly was he doing to be beating you today? Tell us, Yannick.
Because Grigor seemed to be troubling you quite a lot in the first 2 sets. What was he doing to affect your game?
Yeah, he served incredibly well, very precise, and also very fast. Changed up the game things. Very, very good. It was a bit breezy, and he used the wind in the best possible way. He went, I could feel that he prepared the match in a very good way, and he executed even better.
And that's absolutely true. He served well. He served accurately, and he served fast. Take a look at the spots. 79% in the Roger Federer zone for Grigor Dimitrov in the ad court, and serving 87% of the time in that what I call the Federer zone, that space on the outer edges of the service box. Pretty impressive stuff indeed. If you look at the stats after the first set was completed, winning 95% on first serves with 65% first serves in, 10 winners on 7 unforced errors, while the opponent's playing well. Sinner playing 9 winners on 8 unforced errors and winning 77% on the first serve. Grigor, winning 31% on the second serve, but pretty impressive stuff. After that set was over, I was thinking, well, Sinner's definitely going to be able to come back, but this is a great start for Dimitrov. After the second set, I was pretty surprised to see those numbers get better on the winners to unforced errors. Look at Sinner's now 19 and 19. Dimitrov, 30 winners on 17 unforced errors. Very Roger Federer-esque in the numbers, at least at Wimbledon. And first serve going in 62% of the time, winning 81%. His second serve numbers were getting better as Grigor was going for a lot on the second serve. Meanwhile, in our other big match of the day, and obviously we're very sorry for what happened to Grigor Dimitrov. He's one of the nicest guys on tour, and that's why we're wearing the backwards hat style today in honor of Grigor Dimitrov. Anyways, not serving as well in a big match today was the Demon. Take a listen to this one.
I was moving the ball well.
They asked, what were you doing well?
Hurting him from the baseline. Gave myself plenty of opportunities and chances. I mean, the returning, I know I'm always going to give myself chances. I'm always going to put a lot of pressure on my opponent, and I did that today. But I need to improve on is the serve. The serve needs to get me out of trouble, needs to help me in big moments, needs to step up if I want to win these matches.
That's right. And look at the numbers here. They do reveal that. While Dimitrov is such a good returner, as he was saying, he's always going to be in those return games and putting pressure on the opponent. And he brought Joker's numbers down, 69% win on first, 41% win on second. But what helped Joker win was the fact that he was able to get Dimitro's numbers even worse than that, much lower. 56% win on first, getting even less first serves in, 55. And second serve win percentage, 57. So basically the same. So nullified the first serve, and you're getting kind of the same result on both. How the Demon was able to win in the first set, well, if you ask Joker, one thing he pointed out right away were the conditions, very swirly wind. In fact, there was, I think it was a 13 mile an hour average winds with wind gusts going up to 30 miles per hour. It's well documented that Novak Djokovic does not like playing in the wind. I would think Demon wouldn't like it either since they both hit the ball pretty flat. But take a look at this. In the first few rounds, Djokovic serving like Grigor Dimitrov, 80% in the special Fed zone on the ad, 82 in the deuce side, hitting lots of aces. serving outstanding. Today in the first set, take a look at that. Those numbers dropped to 41 and 55% hitting the Fed zone there. Yeah, the wind is definitely a factor when it comes to timing the ball, which we know Joker is one of the best at timing the ball and hitting it out of the center of the racket. And, of course, with getting your toss up and hitting your spots with the serve. So that was definitely a big factor. But just like we saw with the Alcaraz match the other day, even though Alcaraz dropped his first set against Rublev, we saw that Alcaraz was already getting a ton of returns back. I think about 80% of his returns were going back in play off of Rublev. Rublev hitting 60-something percent of serves back in play. Djokovic, even though he lost that first set, early in the second set, he was already getting 88% of the Demon serves back in play. So that was a major factor. And, of course, he was going to figure it out and get better. Demon Hour's numbers never really got better in the serve department. Whereas look at what Joker did. First set, he's only getting less than half of his first serves are going in. He's winning a little over half at 60%. Well, I guess it's significantly over half, but still not good for a top player on their first serve. And second serve, abysmal, 18% win percentage for Joker in that first set. And then broken 3 times. That's how often does Djokovic get broken 3 times in a set? Anyways, in the next 2 sets, it goes up dramatically, winning an extra 7% on the first, winning an extra 30% on the second, and saving all the break points, basically 9 out of 11. So saving at a much better clip than he was in the first set. So those were big factors today. And at Wimbledon, the serve is more important than pretty much anywhere else. And that's how we get here to this beautiful final 8 we have. After the first few rounds, I'm looking at my draw, and I'm saying, what the hell is going on, man? But today, we're at the quarterfinals, and I've got 5 out of 8 correct picks. I'm feeling pretty good.
What the hell is going on?
Welcome to Coffee Break Tennis. It's late in the evening, so we've switched over to beer as we are accustomed to doing. Deutscher beer, in fact. This is today it's Spaten. We're having a Spaten today. Very popular. Sehr beliebt in Deutschland. Indeed. Welcome to the show. Let's throw this one up on the screen. We got a lot of stuff to get to today. I'm going to try not to make the show super long, but of course I'm going to kick it off with this one. Djokovic is my pick to win the Wimbledons. Mats Wilander agrees with me. And now another former Slam champion, crazy guy, is agreeing with me as well. This is from Goran Ivanisevic. We love reading his quotes here lately. I see a chance for Novak at Wimbledon. I don't think no one can beat him before the semis, and I don't think no one can beat him, is what he's saying. Maybe it's an English thing here. It sounds like he's saying, I don't think no one can beat him. Certainly someone could. That's not what he means. He means, I don't think nobody can beat my man, Novak Djokovic, before the semis. He's never lost the center here. Sure, Melbourne, Paris, but here, Novak has beaten him twice. In my view, Djokovic is the favorite. No matter how sentimental that sounds. Alcaraz has beaten him twice, but last year, Novak came after a knee surgery. And in 2023, we all remember how close Djokovic was to winning that one over Alcaraz in the finals. Everyone says this is his last chance. I disagree. So Goran is going very strong on Novak Djokovic, and I am too. They asked Novak Djokovic what he thought about this Goran Ivanisevic quote, and we got to take a listen to his response.
Ivanisevic says that you are the only one capable of beating Sinner and Alcaraz in majors, and that you are the favorite to win here. Do you agree?
I love Goran, and I'm happy. I'm happy he loves me back. But I don't think I'm a favorite against these guys at the moment. I think they are, both of them. But I do probably have my best chance here against them, yeah. If it comes down to me facing one of them or two of them, which I hope so. I mean, for sure, that means that I will proceed to the finals all the way. Then, I'll obviously look for my best game to win. I think I do have a chance. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I think my results in grass, even in the previous years, are testament to my confidence on this surface. And I've been playing some really good tennis this year. So I feel good about myself. I feel confident. I feel motivated to go all the way. So let's see what happens.
Go all the way. I think Novak Djokovic will go all the way. At least that's what my draw says. And I'm still feeling pretty good. Who wouldn't after seeing what happened to Sinner today? Now, Grigor, of course, had it was crazy. Have you ever seen someone get hurt hitting an ace to win a game, to go up, leading 2-0? Pretty crazy. He hits a slice serve out wide, and then he goes down and grabs his pectoral muscle right here, right under the right arm, right shoulder area. And that was it. He was out. At first, the commentators were hoping that Dimitrov was having like a cramp there, maybe could finish the match, but it must be some kind of tear in the muscle in the right pectoral. Anyway, so yeah, very sad that Grigor Dimitrov is out. But just seeing what he was able to do to Sinner today, I think that would give guys like Djokovic, a lot of guys, hope that maybe Sinner is a little bit vulnerable here. Of course, Sinner had his own injury, and we will take a look at that in a moment. But first, while we're on the topic of Grigor Dimitrov, I'm wearing this shirt. It's 2018. He won in 2017, but he was the 2018 defending champion in the Cincy Masters tournament. And I got to talk to him in 2017. And I've been wanting to do a flashback to this for a while because a few times now I've seen the ATP and others kind of copy me on this. No offense. I'm actually honored that they copied me. But this was my chance to talk to Grigor Dimitrov shortly before he was able to win his Masters tournament in Cincinnati 2017. So it's been 7 years, almost 7 years ago. Take a listen.
Get right into it today. Got an awesome video for you guys. I got a chance to ask Grigor Dimitrov the big question, the important question, right? Who is the most handsome guy on the tour in men's tennis? And if it's you, are you okay with that? And roll the tape. This is what Grigor said. It was pretty funny. I think he was caught off guard.
A lot of people think you're the most handsome guy on tour, perhaps the most handsome guy to ever play tennis. Who do you think is the most handsome guy on tour? And if it is you, so be it. You okay with that?
You're very handsome with this kind of sense. Oh man, that's a tough call for me, isn't it?
Let's
talk about women or something.
Well, that too. I'm curious to hear you.
Guys, wow, you caught me off guard completely.
Sorry.
Help me out here. Anything helps.
Answer the women question.
Oh, we want to know.
I'm answering his question. That was the last question. He said last question.
Yeah.
I go with, Feli. I've always been admired with Feli.
Yeah.
Feli Lopez, yeah, I like this guy a lot. Like, it's just, every time it's like, it's just fit and good and this long hair and beard, and I'm like, dude, you're good. Like I wish I had his legs, his calves, man. He's strong, and every time we were walking towards the shower, I'm like, show me those calves again.
Oh yeah.
He starts laughing at me, and yeah, I guess him. Yeah. Yeah.
Not really.
Of course there are a few others, but this is the first thing that popped into my head.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, that was great. That was a wonderful time. So not long after, about a year later, the ATP put together this. I've seen other things too. This is on Tennis TV. About a year later.
Who's the best looking guy on tour?
Best looking.
Roger's really struggling. He wants to say myself. Me? I think me.
Dimitrov.
Anyways, I'm flattered that they copied me, but I don't know if you heard in there, but the moderator kind of gave Dimitrov an out. Dimitrov. Is it Dimitrov or Dimitrov? Anyways, Rafa's like, Dimitrov. I think Dimitrov, very handsome guy. But yeah, he kind of gave him an out. Dimitrov could have moved on, but he answered my question. He didn't just answer him; he gave a great answer, very, very memorable answer. Super nice guy. Super sad that he is now retired from 5 Grand Slam tournaments in a row. He has had to quit with mid-match injuries. Super sad. Sinner was asked about his own injury, right? Sinner fell, hit his hand, and was shaking it out. It seemed like the playing hand, obviously. seemed like every point he lost to Dimitrov, at some point in the match, he was starting to shake his hand and kind of try to loosen up.
Yeah, I mean,
What was
it
wrong? What
happened
happened,
very
Sinner?
early in the match, first game, and
Early
it's
in the match, this
quite
injury
unfortunate fall. Checked the videos a little bit, and it didn't seem, a tough one, but, I still felt it quite a lot, especially serve and forehand, so I could feel it. So let's see. Tomorrow we are gonna check to see how it is, and then we see.
No, not a lot of information, but better than nothing, because he did tell us how he felt it on the serve and the forehand, especially, which are big weapons for Jannik Sinner. So I think that was a factor in what was going on with the match. If you didn't see it, I realize some people might not have seen the match at all. Dimitrov came out playing like Fed, hitting the spots with the serves. I think he had 100% forehand after the serve. When his first serve went in, and after, his first set, second serve numbers were bad, right in the 30s, and then it went up. He was playing bigger on the second serve in the second set. Things got closer in the second set. He was up a break right away. I think it was the first game. Sinner, laid an egg. And then Dimitrov was hanging on. Serves for the set at like 5-4. Sinner breaks back. Dimitrov breaks right back with some awesome play. Used the slice backhand very, very well. Very Federer-esque, the way he could reset the point with the slice. The way he could kind of neutralize the Sinner forehand by, Federer did this all the time. A sharp slice, very low, straight up the line. Sinner has to run over there and dig under this ball and would hit like a weak reply, and either Dimitrov would he would hit a big backhand with topspin, or he'd get around it with his footwork and he would spank the forehand inside out and get Sinner running back into the backhand corner, coming to the net. I mean, it was like what I was saying the other day, like, enjoy Dimitrov if you want to kind of remember what it was like to watch Federer at Wimbledon. Dimitrov is as close as, I know he doesn't like being called baby fed. I'm not trying to insult the guy, but his game is as close as it's going to get to seeing somebody like a Roger Federer. I guess Alcaraz, you could argue, too. Anyway, so Dimitrov playing incredible, and Sinner's level, not terrible, but definitely the injury might have been holding him back a little from, going after his forehand and his first serve like he normally would, making them big offensive weapons. Anyway, speaking of Federer-esque guys at Wimbledon, let's go to Alcaraz. I found the clip, and when I do it through the official Instagram accounts, I typically don't get in trouble with YouTube. They don't try to take my videos down. So let's play this clip. This is the point I was talking about in yesterday's video. I didn't show the video. Just look at how incredible Alcaraz is here. I've got 2 points from the Rublev match that highlight, not only does this guy have so much firepower, so much talent in the hands, so much variety, he's good at everything, but the movement is so special, even on grass where it can be very difficult to move effectively. And he basically does it twice. Here he is. He jumps into that one and slides, but that's a slice forehand. Here's the one where a little extra on it. It's a clean winner. Let's go to this one over here. I love this one. This one is maybe even more impressive to me. I'm not sure. The guy's movement is insane. So that's a short return you can attack. It floats, and he's on the dead run. Right away, Rublev is running the guy everywhere, but he's hitting it deep. He's staying alive. It's deep enough. That one actually helped him that he sliced it kind of slow. Wow. Wow, indeed. Like, talk about making a guy hit an extra ball. I mean, against a normal person. Can we watch that one more time? Is that okay with you? I'm going to count. How many times would this have been a winner against John Isner? No, I'm just kidding. How many times would this have been a winner against your average, like, top 50 level player? I don't know if it would have been a winner there, but a lot of guys would not have made that ball back. Same there. I don't know. And I guess, it's easy to say at the time when you first see it, like, he hit like 3 winners against everybody else. Only Alcaraz would get that. I think like Demonauer would have got that. Scam Nori probably would have got that. But yeah, I think there was a few balls in a row there. Maybe not a clean outright winner, but would have finished most guys. Or they would have missed, or they would have hit the ball so short. They would have got there, but there were like Isner, maybe, yeah, would have been a winner on him. But your average, like, 50 in the world player, 85 in the world, something like that. I think there was a few balls there from Rublev where they might have got it, but the reply would have been so weak that the next ball would have been an easy winner. And the one where it did look like Rublev could finally finish him, that backhand down the line, looked like maybe he could have got him there if he hit it really hard, and that's just too much pressure, and he misses. So that's one of the problems with playing Alcaraz here. It's not just all of his talent and all of his firepower, but the way he can play defense. We saw that can bother guys, like Djokovic having a hard time hitting through the defense of Alex de Minaur today, and we'll look at that in just a moment. We're going to look at some of the numbers from the de Minaur match and what happened to Djokovic's game there. First, let's go to this comment, Ssenssel, Sessensel, not sure how to pronounce it. As I listen to this, Novak's lost first set 6-1. He's dissing me for making a bad call. I don't think it's a bad call. The wind, I'll show you plenty of things, right? We already covered that the wind was affecting the serve or whatever was affecting it. Let's say someone's going to say, you're just making an excuse for Djokovic. Well, I think the wind is a pretty good excuse, but still, you can see the serving numbers compared to the rest of his matches in that first set. And then what does Djokovic do? 6-4, 6-4, 6-4 after he loses that first set. So I feel like my pick is correct. Djokovic had a throwaway bad set due to weather and other excuses that I'm about to get into, all my excuses. And then he won his straight set, 6-4, 6-4, 6-4. So you, sir, you lose. I was more correct than you. Let's look at these, though. This is where I was pretty wrong. I said Cilic would win in 4 against Caboli, and he lost in 4. So I got 4 right. And Caboli, what he did, what's his name? Flavio Caboli. Nice Italian fellow. Good-looking guy. If we're talking about who's the best-looking guy on tour question, he's in the running. He's in the top 10, I would say, top 15 for sure. Good-looking young man, Caboli. Anyways, let's look at the numbers here. Cilic, 48. The big problem in this match is Cilic's forehand. Like the first couple of sets, Cilic is able to get broken because his forehand is just letting him down. He's serving well, but Caboli is returning really well and getting into a lot of points, and I'll show you in just a moment how well he was returning. And then you see Cilic gets into a tiebreak and wins it. He gets into another tiebreak. He pulled it together. He found his forehand towards the end of the match, but it was too late being down 2 sets to love, not enough margin for error. If you're a big server guy like Cilic, you're going to win a lot of tiebreaks, but you don't want to be down 2 sets to love and have to win 3 tiebreaks in a row if you can't break the opponent. I'm trying to see, did Caboli? He broke Caboli 1 time in the match. I think that was to get back on serve going into a tiebreak. Yeah, obviously it wasn't in the first or second set. Anyway, so just looking at the numbers, almost negative 20 on the winners to unforced errors for Cilic, negative 2 for Caboli. Aces 19 on 1 double fault for Cilic. That's really good serving. 68% first serves in, but only winning 69% of the time. Winning 60% on second. That's really, really good number. Caboli obviously is better. Not as many first serves in, but close. 62%. 11 aces on 3 double faults. Winning 78% first serves. Winning 57% on a second serve. So not as good on the second serve department there. But take a look at this. This is pretty impressive considering how good Cilic serves. Look how deep. This is first serve, not second. Caboli returning the Cilic first serve is getting the ball 53% of the time deep into the court. 26% of the time dropping it very short where it's going to get crunched. And 21% of the time dropping it a little short. More than half the time getting the ball deep on the first serve of Cilic. That's pretty incredible. And I'm not alone in saying like, hey, Caboli is not the guy who's going to be winning on grass. Take a listen to only the greatest of all time.
Probably going to see quite a bit in the future. I must say that I'm pleasantly surprised with his result on grass because he doesn't strike me as a grass court specialist with his game, but he reached the quarterfinals and has beaten Cilic and some big servers, some big players that are grass court specialists, so to say. So huge credit to him. He's a big fighter.
He's a big fighter, and he's going to have a big fight on his hands. I've got another clip here. What is this one? Oh, this is the beginning of my excuses for why my prediction was incorrect and Joker lost one set, which basically nullifies that and makes my prediction totally correct. He basically won in straight sets. And here are the excuses for why the first set doesn't count.
It wasn't a great start for me. He was solid as I expected him to be. But I just, the windy, swirly conditions on the court, they were quite extreme today, to be honest, comparing to any other day that we had so far in the tournament. Was very challenging for me. You know, I started 2 double faults, lost the break of serve. First game, I was not feeling good, not finding the right timing. And he was obviously feeling that, so he was exposing my game, exposing my weaknesses, you know, trying to mix things up and returning extremely well. I wasn't getting as many free points off the first serve as I was in my first 3 rounds, so that made it even more difficult. I had to work hard for my service games, particularly from that end where it's against the wind.
And here's another thing he did as well. Look at Demonauer returning second serve point. So this tells me, this is really interesting, actually. Against most guys, lower-ranked guys that Demonauer faced earlier in the tournament, he's willing to get back on the second serve return and just get in the rally. And he thinks, you know, my movement, my ground strokes, I'm going to beat most guys on tour the majority of the time. So I'm just going to make it a numbers game here and back way up a la Medvedev style and just get in. You know, Medvedev is the same thing. I'm going to out-rally most guys, so I'm just going to make sure that I get like, you know, like that number Djokovic had today. I want to get 88% of these second serves back. You know, I want to get 100% on second serve. I want to get all these things back and just get in the rally. I know I'm going to win. Against Djokovic, this tells me that he thought like, okay, I actually got to do a little damage and start off like in somewhat of a advantageous position to get, you know, it's not enough just to get into the point returning the second serve against Djokovic. I actually want to take it like a little early, put a little pressure on Djokovic. And then I think if I start off in a good position, I'll be able to beat him in the rally.
And I think he's one of the toughest opponents you want to have. You can have on this kind of given day conditions where it's very windy and he's so quick, constantly puts pressure on you, constantly makes you play, and he's also a very, very smart player. You know, on the grass, he knows how to use the slice and the angles, and it was a big challenge and honestly big relief to finish the match, in 4 sets.
Absolutely. Take a look at this. We see this all the time, but usually we don't see the height of the ball. And, Djokovic was saying there that this is not a guy you want to face in windy conditions because, in windy conditions, it's easier to hit the ball out. If you're playing a super fast speed demon like Alex Demonauer, the demon, you got to hit the ball a little harder to put him away. And if it's windy, it's harder to keep the ball in the court and create offense by hitting it harder. And then there's this. He said, he worked the slice really well, works angles really well. He's always like getting you on the run, changing directions on you. But there's also this, just his average ball. Take a look at this. The average ball off of Demonauer is lower. There's that. We'll show you from more from the side here. Excuse me. And on average, Djokovic, in previous rounds, is tighter up on the baseline, taking the ball closer, and he's taking it higher, averaging 3 feet and 1 inch at contact. And I learned from Crunch Time Coaching, tennis teaching guru and genius Peter Freeman a long time ago that you want to attack hitting balls downhill. Balls that are short and a little high. You don't want a super high ball. It's uncomfortable, but you want some room to hit down with some pace into the court to hit a winner. And when you have to hit the ball up, it's easier to hit the ball out. This is tennis 101 basics type stuff. And it's just a fact. Scam Norrie, same thing with his backhand. And that one's kind of tricky because Scam Norrie's got a more offensive weapon in his forehand than Demonauer does. Demonauer can hit like a flat laser through a court, but Scam Norrie can hit a really heavy ball, a lot of pace, a lot of spin on his forehand side, but his backhand's super low. And when you play a guy like Demon who's got these flat, low balls, and it's coming through the court fast too, he's taking it early, it can push you back and make you hit up on the ball. So it's harder to create offense to hurt the guy, and it's easier to hit the ball out. So that was a factor in today's match too. And you can see as Djokovic figured things out, So the wind died down a little, and Djokovic got more and more comfortable and found his game, found the feel for the ball. His forehand average speeds went up higher and higher until by, sets 3 and 4, they were close. Set 4, de Minaur was up 4-1. He feels really bad that he didn't find a way to win that set. But once you get your average up to 81 miles an hour, it's easier to hurt Demon and actually finish the points, and that's what we saw from Djokovic. He was doing more damage with his forehand as the match went on. There was also this.
You mentioned earlier, it might have been his neck, could be an ab, could be his shoulder. He's just
stretching on the court. Could be his neck, could be an ab. They don't know what it is. Same thing in the first round. Djokovic took a little injury timeout. Looked like something could have been a little tight on him. Anyways, let's look at the matches for tomorrow. My draw is technically wrong, but I'll remember who's in. I've got Fritz versus Zverev. I had Zverev beating Karen Khachanov in the 4th round. It is Fritz versus Karen Khachanov tomorrow, so I don't feel too bad. I had the guy who's in the quarterfinals in the 4th round. I could have picked him. I thought about it. Anyways, Khachanov and Fritz have only played a couple times. I think it was the end of 2019 in Shanghai. Shanghai. And then early 2020 ATP Cup, that fake tournament they created. So it's been a long time. Fritz is a lot better than he was like a year ago. Definitely than he was like 2 years ago. He's way better than he was 5-6 years ago. So I kind of throw those results out, but Khachanov did win both of those. I think it's an interesting matchup because they both have, a big game. They both can do damage with the forehand. If I had to pick some kind of X factors here, I would just go with Fritz. Khachanov has been up and down for a while. Fritz has been on an upwards trajectory for a long time now, it feels like. And I don't know. I wouldn't count out Fritz at all. I would even, it feels crazy saying he could win the tournament, but I like Fritz a lot. He's doing a lot of great stuff. And one thing he's talked about is how he's returning better than ever. In past years, he's been experimenting with different grips to sit with, which can make a big difference. I remember just one thing I did that helped my return game a lot. I was so obsessed with Roger Federer when I was developing my strokes in my game. So I would always just kind of sit like this. I don't know if this is what Fed did all the time, but Fed definitely did. There's some cat hair on the racket if you see that floating around. But I would be like this and just want to step in and block everything back like that, And as time went on, I realized maybe I'm not doing myself any favors by only blocking returns. Like I should hit some of these. I should even try on the first serve return to do that. And one thing that really helped me a lot was to just think about, and it's not like I didn't have my left hand here, but to be really ready to do this, which gets me into a backhand topspin one-hander grip, right? If I'm just ready to, I hold forehand, right? This is probably what Federer did. I used to be volley grip, ready to block the returns all the time. Then at one point I decided, you know what? I'm going to sit in a forehand grip so I can just turn my shoulders a little bit and get started on a forehand. And I became very aware of how my left hand could quickly switch the grip over, which is, I do this all the time, hitting forehands and backhands in a rally, but I never really thought about how I should practice this for my return when you only have like less than half a second to react on a big first serve, especially. So just doing that made me a much more effective returner. And I was reading how Fritz was, deciding when to sit with a grip where it's easier to get to the forehand versus it's easier to get into the backhand or block back and chip. And anyways, he's at a point where things are looking good for him. I like his chances. I think he wins in 4 sets, just like I said about Cilic. By the way, we're going to get out of here. Hit the music. Carlos Alcaraz plays not Yuri Lehechka, what the Lehecka is, I thought. Oh, of course, he plays Scam Nori tomorrow. Carlos in 5, maybe 4. I'm going to go with Carlos in 5. I think Scam Nori is going to bring some trouble, but I will not be surprised at all if Carlos wins in straight sets and just blows the guy off the court. We will be back tomorrow. I'll leave you with this. Some more Goran Ivanisevic quotes. These are hilarious. When I listen to players, everyone is on antidepressants, says Goran Ivanisevic. The hardest part about coaching is dealing with all the player madness. Everyone knows how to hit. The differences are mental. I've heard Djokovic say that before. When I listen to players, everyone's on antidepressants. Zverev says he's in a bad place. I don't know why these guys put so much pressure on themselves. That's the nature of this sport. If you can't handle it, you can't succeed. Tennis is anything but easy. It's brutal, tough. Nobody can sub for you. There's no halftime like in football. Maybe it's outside expectations, society's expectations. They can't handle it. Zverev is good, but he can't win a slam. He had his chance in 2020 when he served for the match against Team. He blew. First, he had the big three blocking him. Now it's Sinner and Alcaraz, and he's still far off. That leads to frustration. He's number 3, he trains, but he's still far away. Oh, man. Stefanos' situation is clear. If he changes certain things on the court and above all off the court, he'll be fine. He's too good a player not to be in the top 10. But if he doesn't manage to change those things, he has no chance. You can't play a slam or any tournament if your head isn't 100% on it. You need to be thinking about your forehand and your backhand, not 77 other things that have nothing to do with tennis. That's why Fritz is thinking about little details on what he can do to be a more effective returner. He knows he's going to hold serve. He's in a much better place than these guys. 77 other things that have nothing to do with tennis that you hear about on Instagram or TikTok, as they say. Technically, his biggest issue, going back to Steph, he is coaching Steph, so we'll read this stuff. Backhand is the biggest issue, especially the slice. He needs to adjust the grip a bit. He needs to work on his return. He recently changed rackets too. On the serve, he needs to stop twisting his body so much. These are things you address in the offseason, though. Not right before Wimbledon, you idiot. He didn't say that, but that's kind of how I imagined this going. I told him not to play tennis right now. Just stop, Tsitsipas, says Goran Ivanisevic. You need to fix your back. You need to fix your backhand. You need to get physically fit because you're a disaster. I can't understand how a player of his level can be so unfit. And then he says, and this is great, it's actually a bit sad talking about these guys, these losers. It's actually a bit sad. All the players work hard, but they're light years behind Alcaraz and Sinner. Novak is still there, but he's at the end of his career. It's tough. You play, you train, and you know you can't win a slam. Either one or the other, Alcaraz or Sinner, is going to beat you. Thank you, Goran Ivanisevic. That was the highlight of the week for me. We'll be back tomorrow. See ya!